Welcome back. Standing firm on trade, the U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer saying that the 90-day trade truce with China is a hard deadline. The lead American negotiator saying that there will be additional tariffs on $200 billion worth of Chinese goods if a satisfactory deal is not reached. Yesterday, I spoke with the assistant to the president for trade policy, Peter Navarro, who commented on the prospects for a deal with China, but also on the effect of tariffs on the market. Watch this exchange. We all know the tariffs were your idea. People are worried that these higher tariffs are cutting into companies' ability to grow because input costs are going higher. That's crushing profit margins and hurting the stock market. So what are you going to do about it?
So, first of all, I think that's a false narrative in terms of the impact of the tariffs on the stock market. My view is that this is strictly an interest rate effect. I think the Fed went too far, too fast, and what we saw basically was a little asset reallocation from the stock to the bond market. We've had some impact on the housing market. In terms of the dollar, it's too strong now, and that's exacerbated our trade deficit. But this is a normal adjustment. To me, it's not even a correction. You have to remember where we started from back on Election Day. We've come thousands and thousands and thousands of points forward. And on the day after election, Maria, I predicted that we would go to 25,000 on the Dow. A lot of people laughed at me at the time.
And joining us right now is the Coming Collapse of China author, Gordon Chang. And Gordon, it's good to see you this morning. We got two issues that we're talking about here. We're talking about a deal with China, but in that clip, obviously, we were talking about tariffs and the impact on the U.S. economy. Dagan, this is something you've brought up for now a year. Ever since the tariffs went into place, you've been very upset with the steel and aluminum tariffs. It looks like it is having an impact on profit margins.
It is having an impact in the stock market. It is having an impact. Just read the Wall Street Journal or pick up the phone and call somebody in your hometown about who imports goods from China, who uses steel or aluminum in their day-to-day business. It is having an impact. And quite frankly, I think that individuals in the administration need to stop talking about the stock market as if you work at an investment manager, is if you work at like BlackRock. Stop it. You need to get off of this and stop equating what's going on in the economy with what's happening in the stock market. I think that it's unnerving. Increasingly, investors feel like that some of these individuals don't know what they're doing.
And they don't understand, markets don't understand why we haven't had a deal yet. Gordon, China, the U.S. relationship is a tough one. I mean, they've been stealing from us for decades, forcing this transfer of technology. Do you think this 90-day truce is going to change any of that? And what can happen in 90 days, in your view?
90 days, you could have a deal, but whatever deal we arrive with at the Chinese isn't going to hold. Got to remember, Xi Jinping wants to dominate technology in those 10, now 11 sectors. And one of those sectors, by the way, affects Huawei and 5G. So, you know, they can say that they aren't going to steal technology. They can say this, they can say that. But, you know, our history with China is that they violate their trade agreements. And Xi Jinping, remember, his mentality is that, you know, China is the world's only legitimate sovereign state. So you can't have a deal between the world's only sovereign and colonialists and subjects. This is a problem for us, and we've got to understand the dimension of the Chinese mentality here.
And when you saw what happened with Huawei last week, I mean, the CFO of Huawei arrested. This wasn't just about the Iran sanctions. The Chinese government has been using this company, along with ZTE, as a tool to spy on foreigners.
Oh, clearly. And it's going to get worse because on 5G, the Internet of Things, it connects everything in your home. So if Huawei were in your backbone for 5G, the Chinese would know when you use your toaster or your car or whatever. It would all that information would be collected in Beijing.
Yeah, and now the Journal, Mitch, is reporting that two British banks, HSBC and Standard Chartered, are in the middle of this dispute. So this Huawei spying situation and the Iran sanctions violation has brought in these banks.
Yeah, and Gordon, the thing I'm trying to figure out on the Huawei CFO is she a bargaining chip in all of this negotiation with China? Because they want to extradite her back to mainland China.
Well, they want to free her back to China. She is a bargaining chip, but we got to remember, though, that, you know, China's attack against the United States is comprehensive, and we've got to respond to it. So there are going to be these times where two things are going to occur at the same point, and that is, of course, now trade and Huawei, but it could be something else. You know, on Saturday, you had a Chinese military officer urge at a Communist Party-sponsored event the attacking of American vessels in international water. You know, all of these things are going to coincide and collide and make things so much more difficult to resolve.
Yeah, because this is not just an economic issue. This is a national security issue, isn't it, Jason?
It is. And what's going on with North Korea and what the president's willing to do, a lot of moving parts.
It sure is. Gordon, it's great to get your insights this morning. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Gordon Chang.